Today, International Holocaust Remembrance Day, is being honored in a unique, even surreal way. Against the backdrop of the Palestinian massacre on October 7th, the single worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust. In 2005, the United Nations declared January 27th as International Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is ironic because UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres will not make his usual appearance at a prominent New York City synagogue's event today, perhaps in the face of receiving heavy criticism from Israel and its supporters for his largely one-sided pro-Hamas response to the Israel-Hamas war. Guterres and his predecessor Ban Ki-moon have been featured guests at the annual event at Park East Synagogue for at least the past decade. But this year, Guterres said he will sit out the event because it should be centered on survivors, as well as the pain of the Jewish community contending with anti-Semitism amid the war. Speaking of Holocaust survivors, there are approximately 250,000 still living. A Polish Jew named Rose Jeroen is believed to be the oldest survivor. She just turned 112. Nearly half the remaining survivors live in Israel, with 18% more in North America and another 18% in Western Europe. Altogether, the survivors are spread across 90 counties with a median age of 86. Most are women. Sarah Jackson is one of these women. She was 4 years old when World War II started. Her Polish family sought refuge in Siberia, and after years of displacement and hearing that relatives perished in the Holocaust, her parents decided to immigrate to Israel in 1949. Then, on October 7th last year, Jackson found herself sheltering 3 Israelis fleeing the outdoor Supernova Music Festival in southern Israel, where Palestinian terrorists killed more than 360 people and kidnapped others back to Gaza. Yesterday, Friday, they were reunited for the first time. Alice Block, a professor of sociology at the University of Manchester, recently studied the impact of the Holocaust on the descendants of survivors and the ways in which they embrace, embody, and memorialize their family histories. Some Israeli descendants of Holocaust survivors have replicated a parent or a grandparent's Nazi-given numbered tattoo on their own body. The tattoo, which was only used in the Auschwitz concentration camp complex, has become a symbol of the crimes of the Holocaust, although its meaning has changed during the different epochs of Holocaust remembrance. Orly Weintraub-Gilad chose to have her maternal grandfather Samuel Kestenbaum's number tattooed on her arm, but it was also for her maternal grandmother, Agi Kestenbaum. She had been in Auschwitz too, but was not tattooed because she was not expected to live. "It starts the conversation, and that's the purpose," said Gilad. "That's the thing that my grandmother is so happy about. She knows that after she's gone, that I will talk." Gilad's tattoo features her grandfather's number in a nest of leafy green vines. From different vines emerge letters, the initials of the names of Weintraub-Gilad's husband and her children. But the Holocaust number tattoo was not always revered. After the Second World War, survivors were often stigmatized and portrayed as weak, including in Israel. "Why didn't you fight back? And how could you let them do that to you?" Israelis would say to them in the 1950s. True story. All they knew was what they read in the newspapers, heard on the radio, and perhaps some hearsay. Instead of asking survivors what really happened, they jumped to conclusions based on quite minimal information. And it's not like these survivors landed in Israel happy, joy, eager to pour out their unimaginable traumas to anyone who would lend an ear. Today, Holocaust survivors are universally celebrated in Israel, with initiatives to preserve their stories on videotape, as well as organizations dedicated to supporting the diminishing group of Holocaust survivors, such as one called Adopt a Softa, Softa meaning grandmother in Hebrew, which pairs young adults with aging survivors to create interpersonal companionships. So, what exactly changed in Israel? Survivors started talking about their stories, and the rest started listening with a real intent to learn, to understand, to come together. Jonathan Matthews heads the digital content section at Yad Vashem, the World Holocaust Remembrance Center just outside of Jerusalem. Matthews is gay and his Austrian partner is not Jewish. They live together in Israel. Upon a visit to Austria to visit his partner's parents, the two were rummaging around their attic when they found old knives with swastikas, belonging to the grandparents of Matthew's partner. They took the knives back to Israel and donated them to Yad Vashem. Zikar on Basalon, literally remembrance in the living room in Hebrew, is an Israeli initiative started in 2011 to keep the memory of the Holocaust alive. Every year, millions of hosts, participants, and speakers take part in volunteer-based, grassroots-organized events that bring people together in homes to speak with Holocaust survivors and their descendants. The program has become so successful, it has cultivated partnerships with Israeli government agencies and universities, and even Israeli prisons. Last year, the popular Israeli navigation app Waze partnered with Yango to drive Holocaust survivors for free to Zikar on Basalon events across Israel. And 2 years ago, Israeli President Isaac Herzog and First Lady Michael Herzog hosted a Zikar on Basalon event at the president's residence. Jonathan Matthews heads the digital content section at Yad Vashem, the World Holocaust Remembrance Center just outside of Jerusalem. Matthews is gay, and his Austrian partner is not Jewish. They live together in Israel. Upon a visit to Austria to visit his partner's parents, the two were rummaging around their attic when they found old knives with swastikas belonging to the grandparents of Matthew's partner. They took the knives back to Israel and donated them to Yad Vashem. I couldn't help but think what his partner's grandparents and their Nazi friends would think if they knew that their grandson would move to a Jewish state called Israel, enter into a romantic relationship with a gay Jew, who then donate their knives to the world's most expansive museum dedicated to the Holocaust. But such are the remarkable stories that you hear in Israel. As a matter of fact, Israel is home to the world's most museums per capita, including the Ghetto Fighters House, the first of its kind to be founded by Holocaust survivors. Since its establishment in the Western Galilee in 1949, the museum emphasizes the bravery, spiritual triumph, and incredible ability of Holocaust survivors and the fighters of the revolt to rebuild their lives in a new country they had dreamt about, the State of Israel. The museum features unbelievable stories about Jewish children, some as young as 7 or 8, who developed intricate systems to smuggle food and weapons into Jewish ghettos because their parents were too physically weak to do so. What's more, a declaration by Antek Zuckerman, one of the museum's founders, hangs in the main hallway and personifies the essence of Israel. We came here to build homes filled with life,